In addition, a thing or two with regard to the stagely manner of the Samaveshas. Although some scholars in the field suggest and expound on this, that it is strictly stagely process, and in fact they speak of this as phases or stages. Anu Samavesha is one stage, Shakta Samavesha is another stage, and Shiva Samavesha is yet a higher stage. They are not. There are no strict or distinct linearity to the process. And you know that very well if you understand how indiscriminate is the working of grace. So the Shambhu Samavesha can take place to anyone at any time. So in other words, that vertical penetration downwards, that Samavesha of the highest order, can take place completely, seemingly in reverse to what one would expect in terms of the logical state of affairs. But logic only belongs to the mind. So therefore, we speak of this in terms of non-linearity of that process. Question may rise, what happens in that case? Does that mean that there and then that who is experiencing this highest form of penetration gains the results there and then? Well, that's not the case. You see? That is not the case. Why? You know the answer now why. Because the agency, the power, is what metabolizes everything here. So without the power of Shakti to truly transform individualized consciousness into universal state of affairs, no amount of that highest penetration can do the job. So yes, it will arrest someone there and then. It will change their life there and then. And what we've witnessed, so-and-so has been this person, all of a sudden their life is totally taken over. But then the process of that fusion begins. So you see, another example, Samavesha can be experienced as Shakti Samavesha. So this is actually quite common. If Shambhu, Shiva Samavesha is quite rare, Shakti Samavesha is very, very common. And I am observing this myself in this seat for many years, how that is the case, that there is no fairness or seeming fairness in terms of who deserves the awakening. There are people who are working at it, they're, excuse my French, behinds, and there are those who just have it offered to them on a platter. Silver or not, it is there, undoubtedly. So there seems to be no fairness. And it is because it can be understood from applying this triple Samavesha is that penetration took place from a place of that, what Shakti here represents. So, in the case of Samavesha penetration, or Samavesha of that kind, obviously the penetration of the lower kind is no longer necessary. You see? One, as it were, trespass or bypass that process. And everything will be then subject to the limitations that one have to be faced with. If there are very little limitations, if there is just that, let's say, amount that need to be transcended, need to be assimilated, let's say that many-layered cake is, well, doable. One can deal with it. Just put your fork into your fork of consciousness and just, devour it there and then. All these vasanas are being metabolized, Because you can't throw away the cake even if nobody's watching. You see? You can't throw away the vasanas and pretend you're wiping the, all spick and span, and then in no time the cake fall on your head. And all that's like dripping down. Not a nice view. So, coming closer to lunch, metaphors getting more and more visceral, but that's in a nutshell in terms of non-linearity of the triple penetration.